acknowledges all of our.
Love it. I keep talking, Brittany. That's all right. We're live. Hey guys, we're family. We're talking about senior placement business. There's Brittany. Here's Matt. Obviously, we're in the house every Wednesday. If you want to follow us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're here talking about this business and we're talking about entrepreneurship. And we got a fun topic today, Brittany. I really want to get into it because it's all about, you're a senior placement agent when. And we're going to give you 10 things that we've kind of come up with and you might want to add to the list. And if you do add to the list, just drop it down in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. If you are an existing senior placement agent, just drop your information down below. We'd love to hear from you as well. We really appreciate all you do. And hopefully you find that some of the comments we say are kind of funny. Well, the last one's a little bit serious, I think, but the first 9 are kind of comical, but they're absolutely accurate. They're true. It's things that happens to Brittany and me, and I'm sure countless of other senior placement agents throughout the country. And before we get into it, if you'd like to know more about us, you can click down below and learn about the Senior Placement Institute. Man, Brittany and myself, we co-taught a course. It's 42 modules. It's the most comprehensive senior placement course in the country. You can watch a video on it, and you can click a link and schedule a consultation call with us and all that good stuff. And we got TSL as well. Some of you guys have reached out to me about that. Man, it's incredible. It's kind of like the Zillow search for senior living. So not to go into a whole lot of details, but if you want to know more about that, you can click the link down below. I got my tablet over here. And Brittany, I think you've got your tablet. Oh my gosh, man. Tablets are going all over the place into skilled nursings and business cards. And we're helping families to be able to make an educated decision on senior living based on care needs. Just like Zillow, you do a location search, price point, and amenities. You want a home with a pool or a fence. This is just, a little bit different, but it is price point, it is location, but it's care needs. You need Hoyer lift, mom needs transportation, religious service, whatever it may be. Okay, let's get into it, Brittany. Enough of that. You're a senior placement agent when, and I want to start off with this first one because I like this one because it happens, I wouldn't say every day. I might not even say every week, but it happens more often than I care to enjoy because now I'm 56 years of age. I enjoy going to bed like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And, I get up early, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and people are like, my gosh, that's real early. Well, it's not when you go to bed 9:30 or 10, 10 latest. So you get enough sleep, right? But the first one, your phone rings at 9 p.m. Hey, do you have a place that takes Medi-Cal? Or I know the other 49 states are out there. Hey, do you have a place that takes Medicaid? We say Medi-Cal in California. We got to be different in California, right? I don't know. But anyway, Brittany, do you ever get a call at 9 p.m. or later asking that question?
Yep, a lot. Calls and texts. It could be from families directly or sometimes even people in the industry text me. Either way, I've had the latest call or text I think I've ever had is 2 a.m. That is like the latest, earliest. I don't know which direction you go with that, but yeah, this is a common question. And this is the hardest placement to do. I know, at least in my states, and I'm sure California as well.
Yeah. Man, 2 a.m. I have never received a call at 2 a.m. Now, maybe in the coaching side of things, because we do have students all across the country and there's a time difference, especially the East Coast is 3 hours ahead of me. So they might end up texting me a little bit early. I've received texts like 5 in the morning because it's already 8 o'clock their time, things like that. But I've never had fortunately to date, knock on wood, man, I've never had a client reach out to me at 2 in the morning, man. If they do, I'm telling you, if you follow me, Senior Home Business, where I'm at, Fresno, Clovis, California area, and you reach out to me at 2 in the morning, I promise you, I will not answer the phone. I promise you, I will not respond to your text. I promise you, I will not even hear it until I wake up. I'm just letting you know.
I didn't see it till the next morning. But
okay, I thought you woke up and had a conversation with
us. No, the latest would be like 11 o'clock at night, probably, that I've had a conversation with somebody. But yeah, super common. This is things that keep people up at night, right? So
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Well, number 2, you've explained the difference between assisted living and memory care in your sleep. Now, not only can you explain the difference while you're sleeping or in the sleep, maybe you do. You actually just lay there in bed and just go, oh man, memory care, assisted living, memory care. I mean, we get that all the time, and I'm not minimizing it. I totally get it. If I was not in the industry, I'd be one of those individuals that just would not know the difference between the two. I just would lump it all into senior living. I would lump it all into places where elderly go to be taken care of, and I wouldn't know the difference between assisted living, memory care. So if you are a placement agent out there, be kind, be understanding, be empathetic to someone like me if I wasn't in the industry that may not know the difference. But you can be able to explain assisted living, memory care in your sleep. Brittany, do you get that question a lot from people, like when they go, okay, let's say mom's got some cognitive decline, mom's being forgetful, leaving the stove on, whatever it may be. Brittany, does she need assisted living, or does she have to go into another community? It's like memory care. And can you explain the difference? You get that question a lot.
Super common. Yeah. It's a very common question for families to ask. It's also a hard thing to understand. And the reason that we exist, I think one of the reasons we exist is they're not all the same. So some assisted livings can accommodate certain people with some pleasantly confused cognitive decline where some can't. So yes, this is a very, very complex question because everybody's different. Every community is different on how they regulate this. Some are more apt to put seniors in memory care with a little bit of memory loss, where others hang on to them in assisted living for a long time and can accommodate that. I mean, I have some assisted livings that have locked front doors. So there's a lot of pleasantly confused residents in that assisted living, and they don't have to move. So it's hard. This is an emotionally hard question. I know you can relate. Taking families to tour memory care is hard. It's difficult.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah, explaining and like having them picture their loved one, whether it be assisted living or memory care, it's difficult. But this is definitely something that probably one of the number one questions that I get that are on that border when the residents are kind of on that border. I think it's not comical. That's not the right word, but interesting. I don't know if you can relate. I see families go one way or the other. So either they're like, mom just forgets sometimes, like, to pack her lunch or to make sure she makes lunch, and forgets maybe sometimes to take her meds. And they're like, she needs memory care. And other families are like, in denial with the fact that their loved one needs memory care. So I get both sides of the spectrum on this one.
That's good. That's good. All right. Number 3, you could relate to this one. I know, Brittany, man, you've used Google Maps so much, it just starts suggesting care homes or communities when you open it. This happens to me all the time because I'm constantly putting in new care homes. I mean, ones I've dealt with for years. I've been doing this since 2018. So I've been doing it for a long time. And those care homes that I've worked with for years, obviously I know where they are. And I don't put in my Google Maps, but I get new ones. I just got a new one a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to see her on Friday. Well, I don't know where she's at. I know she's off to 180 somewhere. So I got to put it in my Google Maps. And guess what? That's going to be another address that I put in there. So then when I want to take my wife out on a date and I don't really know where the restaurant's at, and I open Google Maps, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the care homes. I'm not looking to have dinner there. I don't mind that. I love those care homes, but I want to go out to a restaurant. So Google Maps suggesting care homes. Do you ever have that experience whatsoever, whether it be a large community or a care home?
Definitely, yeah. I travel between 2 different states, and when I land in Missouri, in my other market, flying from Texas, I've actually had my phone suggest like a rehab to go to because I go there all the time when I'm in Missouri. So yeah, it's funny. Even if you look at, I'm sure your Google history, it's really comical when you pull it up and it's all care homes or assisted livings. And even, I don't know if you do this, but if you're talking to a family, that's funny. I pulled mine up. Yep, that's actually the first 2 are. You can't see it, but the first 2 are assisted livings in my search.
Hey, that is an indicator that you are busy. And that is an indicator that you are helping seniors. I love that, man. If I can look at your Google map on your phone and it doesn't have any addresses that you're going to, you're probably not that active. I don't know. That's just my guess. But okay, speaking of like phones, things like that, you get more texts from care home owners than your own family. This is 100% true in my situation. I mean, we were doing a teaching last night or a coaching call last night, Brittany, right? We were meeting with a bunch of students about TSL and things, and I'm getting a text from one of my care home owners. Let me know if she got 2 rooms available. Matt, can you help me? Blah, blah, blah. This happens all the time. So what I've grown to accustom, like when I get on video like this, I turn off my phone, or at least I hit that little, I don't know if it's actually turn it off, but I make it quiet, right? Silent mode.
Do not disturb.
Yeah, do not disturb. I put that on because if not, sometimes I'll hear beep, beep, all that stuff. That's like, sounds like more like a truck backing up. I don't. What's the text beep, Brittany? How's that go?
Oh gosh, mine's always on silent.
I don't know. I forgot what it says.
Usually
Wait,
my watch. I do vibrate with my watch, so I can just feel it. That way, it
yeah.
doesn't make noise. Yeah.
Hey, do you use that vibration on your watch with your writing hand or your non-writing hand?
Non-writing hand.
I was going to say that'd be kind of cool with your writing hand. You're writing something.
My non-writing hand. That's funny.
It might mess your handwriting up a little bit, but you will get a lot of texts from care homeowners. And obviously, when you get leads, you'll get a lot of texts from residents and families. I get it more from families. Obviously, I think most senior placement agents would agree with this. You spend more time speaking to the adult kids, right? But you get a lot of texts. So if you this is how you know you're a senior placement agent, you're getting a lot of texts. And if you're not getting a lot of texts from care homeowners or communities, and definitely families and all, you might be a senior placement agent by title, but I don't know if you're actually a senior placement agent by practice because you ain't doing anything or very little. And I'm minimizing that a little bit or kind of making it go down a little bit. But you can grow. You can grow and get there, but that's one indicator that you are a senior placement agent. Here's another one. You've had full conversations with families while sitting in your car outside a care home or community. Again, I say care homes. I do a lot of care homes in my area. And I've had full-blown conversations. Brittany, I know you have too. Many other places. I have done, which I don't like to do, and I don't really go to the grocery store anymore. I went for the grocery store, Brittany, for the first time in like a year and some change. I haven't been to the grocery store in forever. I forgot what things go for. I mean, I feel sorry now for like politicians when they're asked, well, you're really out of touch with society. You don't even know what a gallon of milk costs. And I used to hear that and I go, God, the guy doesn't even know. Dude, I don't even know now. I went and got a 12-pack of ginger ale and a couple of small packs of meat for the pups. Went through the check thing and the lady said $31. I about fell out. I was like, wow, I had no idea. I didn't know ginger ale was $20 or whatever it was. I thought it was like $8. I didn't know what it was. I just paid it. But my wife does all that. I don't keep tabs of it. But I've had conversations in grocery stores. I don't recommend that, but I'm a strong proponent of answering the phone, being available. If you do answer the phone in a grocery store somewhere with a lot of noise and distraction, my recommendation would be to answer the phone, identify yourself, hear them for maybe 10, 15 seconds, politely let them know that you're walking out to the car. You'll be in a more quiet, private place in the next 10 minutes. Would it be okay if I call you right back? I would recommend that versus having a full-blown conversation and you hear people in the background, hey, dude, where's the broccoli? Hey, we're not fighting. Get those cards. You want all that stuff going on because that really could kind of break the mood. And it might inevitably make the family member feel a little awkward, right? They might feel like their information is not that private with you right now because there's a lot of commotion going on in the background. So, Brittany, where are some other places you've had full-blown conversations with family members outside the car? Because I know you do that a lot in your travel. How about the airport?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
There you go.
I have this handy thing. This is like a trucker headset.
Yeah.
So it does a really good job. I tested a lot of them. I know I look funny with it on, but this blocks out a lot of noise. So if I'm in the airport, I do tell families that, I'm at the airport. I apologize if it's a little loud. I kind of have my spots to go to now because I know, but yeah, very, very common. I mean, you're on the go in this role. I will tell you the most unique place that I've had a intake call was actually on my bachelorette party before I got married in the middle of a lake on a boat. And I made everybody be quiet and I helped the family. So it was a fast move. So that's the most unique place. But with this role, you have to just take it as it comes. There's no certain time or place that someone's going to call you. But yeah, like you said, I let the family know, hey, it might be a little loud. I'm on vacation, but I'm still here for you. So just making sure you keep their information private. And if you are one that's going to be on the road a lot, even car noise, I know irritates people. Like the loud wind, you can tell you're in a car. You cannot tell you're in a car if you wear one of these. So,
oh man, I might need to get me a pair of those.
Blue Parrot, they're the actual trucker headsets that you see, like the truckers wearing. So
I might send me the link on that one.
Okay.
Text me later for the link because the reason I do it, it's not so much in a car. I travel right and go around town. I'm going to sniff today, and it's like hands free. But what might help me out with this is I do a lot of conversations on the patio, and I live right next to the foothills. So there's something I've been experiencing for the last year since we moved to this new house. is there'd be a gust of wind like no other that I wasn't accustomed to living at the other house. And it just starts out of nowhere, just goes, and that's kind of irritating when I'm on the phone with somebody and kind of throw you off a little bit. So if those headphones will help me out with that, send me the link, girl. I'm going to get one of those things.
Yeah.
So help me out.
Yeah. My husband makes fun of me with the way it looks, but
hey, as long as it works, right? I don't care. I mean, I've gotten over that.
The little trucker is what he calls me. So
little trucker, man. You're trucking down the road and senior placement. There we go. Well, hey, number whatever we're on, 6 or whatever this is right now. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like 6. You've walked into a community and instantly knew, nope, this isn't the one. Nope, not here. Bad vibe, bad smell, whatever it may be. And we teach a 3-step qualification process in the senior home business, right? In the Senior Placement Institute. However, there are some things that are just so common sense. And what's cool about this business, you guys, if you've lasted this long and you're interested at all, the business model is non-complicated. It is not at all. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out, but you need to do some things well. But this is one right here that's just normal. I mean, you walk into a place that is, let's say it smells to high heaven. It's messy. It's chaotic. There's a lot of different things that you observe or hear that you would go, there is no way in H-E-double-L hockey sticks. That's kind of like a kid thing, right? Anyway, there's no way in the world I'd have mom or dad here, my own. And it might be a good indicator. So I know, Brittany, you probably encountered some situations like this. What's the best way? And I'm putting you on the spot here, so I know this is tough, but what's the best way or best approach to communicate with a community, and primarily a care home in this regard, that when you walk in and the place is just either chaotic, messy, smells? Is there a polite way to do this? And have you ever had that experience?
Yes, I think one, if you can, of course, you are talking, especially a care home owner, you are talking to their business. Like, this usually is the owner, this is their baby, however you want to position it. Usually what I try to do is find some positives first. So your location's great. Your nurse, maybe the nurse was really sweet, but the caregivers were not. You find some positives and you just have a conversation with them and say, hey, as a placement agent, we really love your location. We love your nurses. We love whatever it is. But I want to be honest with you, I'm struggling a little bit to, recommend your community or to want to bring my families here. Even, I don't know if I'd place my loved one here because of these reasons. Is there anything I can do to help? Is there any feedback that I can give you? That's also large communities too. Usually I do that after somebody, like if I'm having issues when someone's already moved in. But if I walk into a large community that wants to work with me, I might have the same conversation. I might say, I will give you an example. I have a community in Missouri, and they have amazing price points, amazing floor plans, but there is a pipe that has not been fixed for 2 years in the middle of the dining room, and the carpet is very, very highly stained.
So what do you have, a bucket right there? Dude, that's not a liability.
And a clear tarp, like in half the dining room.
Oh.
Now, are they an amazing price point? Are the staff at that community amazing?
Yeah.
Yes. The residents are happy, but that's just something that you have those conversations with that, hey, we love this community, but usually they know these things. Matt, you can probably relate. A lot of times they understand, but having those professional, respectful conversations sometimes can go a long way. And in my experience, they appreciate it. I've never had anybody come back and say, oh, we don't, no, we're great, or, we don't appreciate it. They really do appreciate it.
Yeah. It's just having a candid conversation, what you're saying, right? And it's going to be awkward. However, I think to your point, they would appreciate that for the long run. And it's kind of, if I'm not going to place anyone there, I'm never going to suggest anyone go there because of whatever the reasons may be, like the bucket and the hole in the roof and all that stuff and the tarp, then that's an issue. I'll let them know and we can have a conversation, and I agree with you. Lead with some positive things about their community. There's going to be something that's going to be good about their community. Obviously most people try to do their best. They try to put their best foot forward. So lead with that. But you got to have that honest conversation, because if not, it's going to be even more awkward, Brittany, when you never give them a lead and going back to the text, and they're always texting you, but you're never giving them a lead. They're like, man, you're either out of business And it doesn't seem like you are, Matt. I see you all, and I get this sometimes, you guys, especially when you get a lot of care homes that you deal with. And there's some that are just obviously better than others. And so, like the one I just got the other day, I can't really say the name. I haven't given them a lead in a long time. It's just not one of my top 20, top 30 communities. And there's various reasons for it. Don't need to go into it, but it's just not. And so I don't lead in that direction. However, you got to have those conversations, because if not, and I haven't had a really good conversation with her, because there's nothing like a bucket and a tarp and something like that. It's just it's the overall way things are run. It's kind of some intangibles, maybe some attitude, just some different things like that. It's not like something you can kind of point to, but it's just, and some of it's just a gut. And that's what you're going to have to do as a senior placement agent. Sometimes it's going to have to go with your gut, and your gut could be right. It could be wrong, but it is what it is. Especially women, man, you're intuitive. You go in, you get a bad vibe, man, you need to just kind of steer away, but have those conversations with it, or it could be awkward a little bit later. Okay, next one. You've been asked, can you place someone today? And it's only almost 5 o'clock on a Friday, which I know, Brittany, full disclosure, you and myself, we're workaholics in a sense. We have, well, I don't say that, but we have a lot of playtime. I know you spend a lot of time with your husband, your family, spend a lot of time with my wife and our pups and all that stuff. So throughout the week, being an entrepreneur is great, because we can actually do a lot of things, right? That maybe the average 9 to 5 person couldn't do. However, we're not opposed to working on Saturday and Sunday and taking calls. I know you do that. You take it late at night sometimes. But for the average senior placement agent out there, you're going to get a call at 4:55 on a Friday. You're going to get a call from a family member who got your information from a social worker, whoever it may be, on a Saturday. Are you going to take the call? If you're willing to take the call, take action, you're going to be successful in this business. If you ignore calls and say it's 4:55 on Friday, I'm about to go home, or Saturday and Sunday, dude, that's my playtime. I don't even think about business. That is a 9 to 5 mentality. I'm telling you right now, you will not be successful. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do this business part-time, but that's when you have a full-time gig during the week and you're doing this primarily in the evening or the weekends. But you've got to be open for the sake of the family, for the sake of your connections, your referral network. Be open to receive calls at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I have received leads from other referral agents in my area. How I know that is because they called them about this time. And there was one particular call I remember, and the guy said, hey, I'm sorry, I can't, talk to you right now. Ma'am, it is almost 5 o'clock on a Friday. Can I talk to you on Monday? And I've said the story on one of these other videos a long time ago, but that lady ended up reaching out to me on Saturday. I ended up helping the family. By Monday, they had options. By Tuesday, the person moved in. So whenever that other senior placement agent swung back around on Monday, decided to reach out, I already had the ball going down the field, man. We were about to cross the goal line. And so he lost the deal. So you got to be willing to do that. But Brittany, I know you take calls on the weekends, right?
Every weekend. Yeah, I work every weekend. So it just depends. Yeah, I mean, weekends are a lot of times families, adult children are off. Some are still working. So weekends are a really good time for them to chat. Yeah, we do tours on the weekends. My mom has 3 tours this weekend. So we spend a lot of times on the weekends. I know it can be tough in this industry to this point at 4:55 on a Friday. Usually it's not me or you that can't get it done. It's getting the people that are at the communities to be able to get stuff done. But to your point, if you can use the weekend or these evenings to get as much as the ball rolling as you possibly can, I'm always transparent with families. If it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, if it's a large community, we might have to wait until Monday, but we're working the whole weekend with them to get the groundwork done. And then come Monday, we've got a game plan ready to go. So there's ways to work it. Weekends can be tough with certain communities. I know some won't do tours on the weekends, or you kind of got to know your market for sure in that regard, but you can definitely get the family to where they need to go, or at least a starting point in the evenings and weekends.
Are you finding a lot of your large communities, the marketing directors don't work on the weekends? The reason I'm asking this question is because when I used to be a marketing director, we had a rotating schedule. So I worked on Saturday, someone worked on Sunday. What I'm finding more often than not, a lot of these large communities are just doing a Monday through Friday kind of thing, and no one's there Saturday and Sunday. Doesn't mean no one's in the building, but no marketing director's there, right? Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, so I have some, yes, typically Monday through Friday, or Now I'm seeing, let's see, would it be Tuesday through Saturday? So they're
Yeah.
there Saturday, not Sunday, off Sunday, Monday. But in my experience, being off Monday is detrimental, I think, because Monday is like the go. So my leads that are fast placements are typically Mondays and Fridays when I get the lead. That seems to be what I've seen the trend from like hospitals and rehabs. For some reason, it seems like Monday and Fridays tend to be like the rush on, people that are trying to make a plan. Fridays, hospitals are trying to make a plan to get the family going to be ready to discharge by Monday. Mondays, everyone's getting back from the weekend. All their admissions came in. What are we doing next? So I think Mondays and Fridays typically seem to be like especially for hospitals, a time to start making discharge plans. So I typically have Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Saturday. And a lot of my communities don't have more than one marketing director, even if they're pretty big.
Well, I tell you what, let me give you a pro tip, large communities, and it might be a little difficult with one marketing director, but you might want to offer some incentives to help the individual out. If you cannot have somebody there on the weekends or one day during the week or something like that, and it's a price point issue, I get it. It's how many hours they got to work during the week. You're limited to one person. What you can do to solve this problem. Listen up, communities. Here's how you solve the problem. Get a cell number or a cell phone, or forward it to somebody's cell number, and they're on call. Make your marketing directors be on call, and so that way they don't miss a call. Now, understand when you get national leads, they come through via email. Those you have to make a decision. You either want the marketing director to work because they're not going to respond to those emails and be in front of the computer all during the weekend when it's their time off. I get it. But man, on call, a lot of businesses will do that. They'll have somebody on call, and that way, if there's something urgent, I would make it like if you got someone calling your community and dial 1 for the nurse, dial 2 for the sales director, dial 3 for whatever, and that dial 2 for the sales director or marketing director goes to the box, right? And so it's a voicemail. It goes, please leave a message, blah 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 blah. And nobody gets back to the person for a couple of days. You may have already lost out on that lead. However, if you have that dial 2 forwarded to someone's cell number, they're on call, at least they can make that initial connection. It could be short and sweet, get their information, kick something over, right? They could organize something. It may help you out your senses. So you might want to look in that large communities. Next one, your phone buzzes and you already know it's a care home text and availability, right? I already know it. I don't even have to look, right? It's just they want to know, right? And I totally get it. I would do the same thing if I was a care home owner. I don't get this too much from large communities. I will get on occasion, especially like with independents more often. But a lot of your care homes I do, and I totally get it. If I own a care home and I was down 2 residents, I had 4 in the home, I needed 2 more, and I'm texting Matt. I'm gonna let him know. Text the others, let them know. Hey, that's part of the marketing kind of thing. You got to let people know your need in order for them to fulfill your need, right? So you're just letting them know. But Brittany, I think you probably get that too. That goes without saying, but it's just, man, your phone, it buzzes. First thing I think about is a care home owner. That's the first thing I think about. I don't think about it's one of my family members, it's a friend, it's whoever. I think about it's a care home. Now, it's not always the case, but that's where my mind goes. All right, talk about this one, Brittany. This is number 9. We'll get to the last one. You've explained Medi-Cal, and I say Medi-Cal because I'm in California. The other 49 states, they say Medicaid. So we'll say Medicaid for this example. You've explained Medicaid versus private pay more times than you said good morning. Yeah, tell me about you ain't got to tell me, but I mean, you hear that a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Brittany, I understand but Medicaid and private pay, and, can you talk about both? And do they accept Medicaid and those kind of things?
Yeah, it's a hard topic. I mean, I think this is the most misunderstood thing in the whole senior living realm. I think it comes from I get a lot of families that think Medicaid pays for everything. You can probably relate to that. And they just don't know what they don't know. They could be just who they heard for the grapevine. I know some states have amazing programs where assisted living does work with Medicaid, or I'm not sure about Medi-Cal, but I know some states have amazing programs. Unfortunately, there's not enough programs, and I don't get the luxury of working with those programs in my states to any extent. Like there's a little bit there, but nothing to really write home about. So that being said, I just think there's so much misconception on Medicaid versus private pay. A lot of these are crisis modes where they don't realize how much senior living costs, how much assisted living costs, a care home, memory care. So it's a really hard thing to comprehend. And I think if everyone thinks the state, I get this, the state pays for senior care, it's hard to kind of debunk those theories and those myths, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, definitely. And let's close out with this one, Brittany. Number 10, you know you're a senior placement agent when you love what you do, even when it's wild, emotional, and unpredictable, because it will be a wild ride. It will be an emotional time for you when you hear story after story after story of people that are declining. And I always think of in terms of graduation, but I mean, the family doesn't really look at it that way because that's not their experience. And so you're going to hear some stories, right? And then it is unpredictable. There's a lot of unpredictability about this business. And so, Brittany, can you think of a story that maybe that relate to one of these three, not to put you on the spot? Maybe it's a wild story, emotional story, or something that's unpredictable.
Yeah, there's a lot. Probably with all three. I would say emotional. I've moved residents out of situations where maybe they did not use a senior placement agent to move into their first community and it was not a good fit. I've had some really emotional, they do fill your cup and they're so rewarding when they get that move. I wish I had the picture, but one of my first moves ever, I was still learning, you learn as you go in this industry, but I had a family call me and her husband was in a really unfit skilled nursing long-term care community. And in Missouri, we're able to work with long-term care placements, and we do get compensated by those if they're staying there for the long term. So it was a referral that I was working fully. It wasn't a Medicaid referral. And he was just in such bad shape. He had wounds, like just really, really sad. And this wife had no idea what to do. The hospital placed him in this community for long-term care directly from the hospital. Yeah. And I called and I found another nursing home for him that was just in way better condition for long-term care. And he did move there and he only made it about 3 months, but they used to send me pictures of like his wounds were taken care of. And the wife was just literally in tears. This was one of my first moves. So like just to feel she was so thankful. She had no idea what nursing home to go to. The hospital just kind of said, here's a bed, here's, where it can take him. So getting him moved was hard, but it was so rewarding. I have a picture of Frank in my office and just the reason you do what you do. And it might've only been 3 months, but I just got the chills. But his wife said that like, it was the best 3 months he ever had in the last year of just getting good care. And they loved him and took care of him and sent the wife pictures daily on how he was doing. We got him a good hospice team. It was really, really rewarding. Yeah. So that's one that, with this industry, you also move people out of communities. I know that's something we might not think about. We actually move unfit placements to the right fit placements. So it's a different thing. And those are really rewarding. I've seen people do a 180 being from an unfit community to the right.
Absolutely. Fit. Absolutely. Yeah, well, Brittany, thank you for sharing that. You are 100% correct about that. I mean, if you are in the right community, doesn't mean the community is ever perfect. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is. But man, when it's a good fit, there's there's connections with other seniors are being cared for. The care team and the staff are, just over the board, just love seniors and they do anything for them. You can just feel this kind of thing when you walk in communities. And I've seen communities you walk in, the caregiver's walking down the hall, she's smiling, she's radiating, she's saying hello to everybody. She even says hi to me when I walk in. And most of the time they don't even know me from Adam, right? But they're so nice. And that is kind of the community you want to be in. It's more than just, we're going to do this, this, and this. And, dad's going to be taken care of. We're going to see him 3 times a day. You can see somebody 3 times a day and still feel distant. Come on. If you got a marriage out there and you guys you're seeing each other 3 times a day, maybe morning before you go to work, when you come home, and then you do your own thing and you see each other before you go to bed. I don't know. That might not be a good thing either, right? There's a lot of stuff all in between that makes a healthy marriage. And there's a lot of stuff all in between that makes a healthy community. And so you want to make sure those things are there. So to Brittany's point, when a loved one or residents in a ideal community and they have a love and affection, people genuinely care for them. And I'm not trying to say that communities out there that don't love seniors. It's just, I think some of them get so wrapped up into the logistics and the different things they're doing. And they're worried about census. They're worried about the business side of which you need to stay in business. I get all that. But I think when they start worrying more about that, instead of worrying about the love of the resident and taking care of the resident, there's kind of a fine line and people start to feel that. There's the the stress level goes up, levels of uncertainty, all kinds of different things like that go up. So yeah, that's awesome. So, we got a comment here from Sassy Girl. Is a certification required like certified senior advisor? Brittany, you want to speak to that real quick?
It is not. There's no certification right now currently in the senior placement agency realm of business that you have to have any kind of certification. Some states are more regulated than others, but does not require you to have anything. I think it's a great organization. Check into it. I know me, myself, Matt, do not have the certified senior advisor. I know a lot of people that do, and they love it. So definitely something to look into. If you don't have experience in senior living, I've heard it is difficult, but it is so worth it because you get a huge jump start into everything senior living financially. I heard it's a really, really good course and a really good group.
Awesome. Thanks, Sassy Girl. Appreciate you reaching out to us. All right, Brittany, thank you so much. Guys, thank you out there. Appreciate you spending your time with us. And if you're watching live, great. If you're watching recorded version, we really appreciate you as well. And again, if you want to know more about what we do this on a daily basis. We've done it for a long time. You can just drop down and click all the links and all that stuff down below, from a podcast to a 3-day workshop to a free webinar to whatever you want to click on, all down below, and learn all from what we do. We've got students in 35 different states across the country now. So anyway, until next time, God bless.